What's up, everybody? You're watching NowYouSeeTV, and I'm your host, Jon Pounders. I appreciate you guys that subscribe, comment. I want you guys to comment on this video. Tell me what you think, and just give me some feedback on this. But this is a video that I've been putting off for a very long time, because I want to make sure that I knew what I was talking about, and I want to make sure that I felt led to do it. So basically, here it is. This video is going to be about sleep paralysis, and the reason I'm doing this is because it's something that I experienced through various stages of my life. But I'm going to give you the definition of what people classify as sleep paralysis. It's a phenomenon in which a person, either during falling asleep or awakening, temporarily experiences an inability to move, speak, or react. It's a transitional state between wakefulness and sleep, characterized by muscle weakness. It's often accompanied by terrifying hallucinations, such as like an intruder in the room, where you're unable to do anything about it because you're paralyzed, and physical experience such as a strong current running through the upper body. So all those things described in that right there are things that I've experienced. I started experiencing those things as a child, and when I was a child I used to have them, and I would hear voices that sounded like demons. I'd be terrified. I mean, there was nothing I could do about it. I'd be so scared. And it even continued on through as an adult. And as an adult, there were times that I would sleep with the lights on, or I'd medicate myself to keep it from happening, drink or whatever. This was before I was a believer, and no matter what I did, it just didn't help. So I kind of dreaded, went to sleep every night. It didn't happen every night, but there were times it did, and it almost was like an abduction type experience. So the reason I'm calling this video sleep paralysis, abduction, alien abduction, or demonic activity, or whatever, that's exactly what I think it is. Because as I'm going to tell you about a couple of experiences that I had with it, but like I said before, I could never do anything to stop this experience. No matter what I did, it just kept happening and happening, and it was just so frightening. I mean, I didn't even believe in God at the time. I didn't believe in. I thought it was something that like my body was doing. And at the same time, I was like, maybe it is demonic. I don't know. But, I'd shrug it off the next day, whatever. But it was definitely frightening. So if you're going through this right now, listen up to what I have to say, because this is very important, okay? This is an experience I'm going to tell you guys about. I haven't told a lot of people about it, just because, for one, it's pretty crazy. It's a very insane incident that happened to me. So okay, so I'll lay the groundwork for the story that I'm going to tell you, okay? Before I was a believer, I was into drugs, dealing drugs more than anything, more than I did them. I didn't do tons of drugs. I did do some. I did, prescription drugs. I did some cocaine every now and then, meth every now and then. Meth I never really got addicted to, but I did it a couple times. I did mushrooms a lot. So, like, one could say, oh, it's because of all the drugs. Well, I had those experiences, like I said, as a kid before I ever had drugs or anything in my system. So it wasn't the drugs that caused the scenario, but I was a pretty bad person most of my life. I experienced a lot of things. I come from a long line of people that my dad and my mom weren't like this, but Francis Bacon is one of my ancestors. He was the one that started the Rosicrucians. Did that. He wrote the book about Atlantis. Like, he was a big time occultist, and there's a lot of people that have been in my family that have been that, high level Freemasons and all that. So I believe that a lot of this has been passed down to where I'm at right now. So anyways, I was having these experiences. I became a believer about 7 years ago. Okay. After becoming a believer, I would have a lot of experiences because I felt like these demons that were a part of me at the time. I didn't realize I was possessed until after I became a believer. When I became a believer, I could feel the demons leaving me. It was a weird experience, almost like they were just, almost like air was just flowing out of my body. And I felt, after they left, man, I felt like a whole new person. I mean, I literally felt completely clean, new, and all that stuff. So that happened. The experience I'm getting ready to tell you about, I was at a family member's house, and I'm not going to tell their name or anything like that, because I don't want them to feel like I'm talking about. I don't want them to feel like looked down upon by any means, because I don't believe that's the case. But I visited there often. Every time I went down there, I felt a really dark presence there. Every time, and especially in the room I was staying in that area back there. the property that I was on, my grandpa would kill animals like crazy. He was a pretty evil guy. Roared around the town. It's a small town. He had people killed. He did all kinds of horrible things. He was part Indian, which I'm not saying all Indians are, into witchcraft and stuff like that, but he would go see psychics and do all these things. And so there was a really dark presence on that property. Okay, my grandma that lived there, she's passed away now, but she would see people coming into the house talking to them, and they would talk to her at night, and she said they would try to steal her stuff, and they were real mean to her. My aunt, she said that there was these huge people, like 7-8 feet tall, that were banging on the side of her house that she lived on, and telling her that they were going to choke her to death. And she was seeing her passed away mother come and talk to her. Just a lot of spiritual coincidences going on there. So I felt stuff when I was there too. I mean, it was deep, really deep. My mother would tell me about. She said that she would see things walking through the room at night, and it would scare the living daylights out of her. And so, while I was down there one day, I was in deep prayer because I could feel the darkness in the room. It was really, really scary, and so I was just praying and praying and praying and just talking to God, trying to ignore what it was. I just didn't know for sure what was going on. So, all of a sudden, I felt like what it felt like a 400-pound person just completely pushing their arm down on my chest as hard as they could, just boom, hit down, and all the air just left me. I felt an electrical impulse go through the back of my head right here, back here, right where my cranium meets my spine, right here in the back, and it shocked me, and I could see the lights in the room were flashing. All right, so I left my body for a few seconds, like I was leaving my body, literally leaving my body, and at the time, I was like, this is the same kind of stuff I would experience before I was a believer. But as soon as that happened, I said, Yeshua. And I couldn't say it out loud. I just said it in my head. I couldn't even whisper it. I had no air left in me. And I said Yeshua, Yahovah. I said, God, help me. And as soon as I said that, I went back down to my body. I crawled out of the bed. The lights were still flashing. I got down on the bed. My wife was still in the bed over there. She was still asleep. So I crawled into the other room. I was going to try to go wake up somebody in the house and see what was going on. But as I got into the other room, I turned my back and looked toward my wife, and I was like, I can't leave my wife in there. Well, as I turned my back, these two beings were behind me. They were talking. I want to call them beings, but they're humanoid-like. I couldn't see them. I was scared to look behind me to look at them because they were super, super bright, super just... I was frightened already, so they say, come with us. We want you to come with us. And I said no. I was like, I can't. I'm not coming with you. I was like, you really don't have any, dominion over me. I want to stay here with my wife. I don't want to leave my wife here with whatever's in this house right now. And so they said, okay, and they left. So at the time when they left, I went back into my bed. I felt the presence was gone. I went to sleep. Okay. The next day, me and a friend, we went over there. My aunt, I believe, she's mentally challenged, so I believe she was the one that was kind of allowing this because she had been talking to her dead mother, which I believe is a familiar spirit, kind of like entering this thing in. She was having just violent outbreaks where she would scream at people and just go completely, crazy at the time. So we prayed over her, cast demons out of her. We prayed over the house, cast demons out of the house, and after that, never an experience there ever again. Never. I've been there many, many times since, over and over and over again. Nobody else has ever experienced anything there. It's been completely clean since that day. So that's the reason I believe that sleep paralysis is definitely demonic. And when I say demonic, I mean literally demonic. I don't believe it's aliens. I believe aliens and demons have a similar interest. If they're not the same thing, they're definitely in league with each other. So that's what I believe is happening. So if you're experiencing this, I challenge you to use the name of Yeshua, Yahovah. Yahovah is the name of the Father. Yeshua is the name of the Son. Jesus, just call on the name of the Creator. Call on the name of the one that brings salvation, because I promise you, before that, I never could control any of it. I couldn't stop it. It just happened. Crazy things happen. I mean, I could go on and on about the experiences I had before I was a believer. They were even crazier than some of these, than this one. but they were frightening. And so I'm telling you right now, that's the name above all names. It's the name that you can say that will get rid of it. But I challenge you that if that works for you and you're having these experiences, to start following him, because if you want to lead your destiny into life and you want to do what you're made to do by the Creator, the one you're calling on his name, then you have to follow him. I followed myself for a long time. I had a lot of money, I had a lot of fun, I had a lot of things. I had all these things, but none of them really brought me to my destiny, to my happiness. Now things have changed a lot, so I'm not going to go into the whole thing completely, but if you have any questions, put it in the comments. I'll try to answer every question that's on here. But that's it for tonight. I'm going to come back later on and do some more stuff about this in the future. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit me up. Send me a comment. Go on Facebook. I talk to people on there as well. I'll put the links down at the bottom. But I appreciate you guys. Once again, thanks to my subscribers. And I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you very much.